So, was Love and Thunder good or bad? I say it was both, and it's not a cop out. I think that it was both. One, it depends on how you see it. All right, like if you look at it at the movie in a vacuum, then it was good. But if you're looking at it overall in the MCU, I don't think it's good. It's bad. So first, we're gonna talk about the good. First of all, I like the movie. I thought it was an 8 out of 10. All right, I thought it was funny. I thought it was lighthearted, and I was chuckling. I wasn't gonna lie. I liked the goats. I thought the goats were funny. Another thing that I really liked was with that little spoof that they were doing at the beginning, where so when Thor roundhouse kicks a tank like Chuck Norris, I lost my shit. All right, I thought that shit was funny. Some people didn't think it was funny. I thought this shit was funny. And they had the whole thing with the axe and stuff, and it was just super goofy, super lighthearted and stuff. I liked it. I really like Gore too. I thought it was a little scrawny. It needed a little bit of protein. It is what it is. I thought Christian Bale did a great job acting it out. I like Jane Foster's story, man. You know what I mean? I think they did justice. I feel like that's what happens when you stick to the source material. They stuck really close to the Jason era, at least from what I understand, right? Like, as far as maybe not perfect, but they kept, I don't want to spoil it to you, but that was like the important part, right? The ending, I think of how they did with Jane Foster, I think that was important, and I feel like they did it. Overall, I really like the message too, like the message of like, don't close up your heart. You got to remain open and positive and try to look for things to move forward to. Man, my boy Thor, out of the MCU, this guy's lost a lot. So for the fact that he remains the most lighthearted character, I think that's very good. That's a win. That's a win. We're talking about this as a movie. As a standalone movie, it was doing great. And also, I'm going to be saying that even though I read comics and stuff like that, I went in to Thor as a dirty, filthy casual, right? I'm not big on Thor. Like, as far as Thor in the comics, I could take it or leave it, right? I'm mostly a DC guy. Not because I don't like Marvel. I think Marvel sucks or anything like that. It's just that DC is what I've read. I've read a bunch of more DC than I have Marvel. Some of the Marvel I've read, like some of the main, like Daredevil, the Black Panther and Venom stuff, and some Ghost Rider, a little bit of She-Hulk now, but not a whole lot, as much as I've read a lot of DC. So I understand, like, people who have read a lot of Thor and expect things from Thor, because I get that. I feel that, because DC does it all the time, man. They take a character or certain characters, and you're like, all right, this is gonna be hardcore. We're going with this one. And then they give you something that's not it. Ew, that shit out of here. And so I feel you guys on that one, which is gonna lead me to the bad stuff, right? Overall, the movie of Thor as a movie, I think it was good. It was pleasurable to watch, and I think it was funny. I liked it. I digged it. So now the bad stuff. Now, what I think for the MCU though, I don't think it's going in a good direction. I think if this is an indication of where the MCU is headed, I feel like Marvel is losing its magic, right? There's nothing we're working up to. If you think about all the shows and all the movies that we've seen in the past year from Disney, none of them have led to anything. Like, all the stuff at the end, like all the cutscenes and the new characters they're teasing, it's kind of like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Like, Doctor Strange, if you haven't watched it, spoiler, what was her name? Clea? Bro, who cares? Like, all the other stuff. By the way, I really love that movie. I honestly thought that Doctor Strange and the Wanda verse or whatever, I thought that was a great movie. Like, that's definitely one of my top. And I think it's because of the horror vibes that they had. Like, I really love Wanda. Wanda was badass in that thing, all right? But everything else with the MCU is kind of mediocre. It's not really, I don't know. I just don't see the big picture. Like, where are we going? Are we going to another Avengers group? Are we going to the Illuminati? Like, everything that's kind of exciting they just kind of pull the rug underneath, right? People were excited about the X-Men and Strange, and they just pull the rug from underneath you. And as far as other characters as well, you know, all the cool villains, they just get rid of them, right? That's how I feel about, you know, the MCU, that it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And I think that because they're straying further and further away from the source material. And I have a theory, though. This is just theory, man. I'm just putting it out there, right? I feel like a lot of it has to do with maybe because Stan Lee's not around anymore. I think before, you know, Stan Lee was around and he was part of the movies and people consulted him and they respected his opinion because he's an OG, man. He's an originator of this game, all right? So people respected him and people wanted to stay with his vision of what he thought the superheroes should be. And I think that, you know, this is what it is. You know, the world's full of kiss asses. You know, I'm sure there was a lot of people in Hollywood, oh, Stan Lee, you know, we got to make sure we do this right for Stan Lee. But I feel like now that Stan Lee's gone, it's like a Wild West out here. It's like people who don't care anymore. They don't have any overarching father figure over the Marvel heroes that, you know, ensures to maintain the integrity of the stories. And you can tell that because deliberately, I don't know what that dude's name, Tati Watiti, whatever, the director's guy, he's basically telling, I'm gonna give you a Thor you're not gonna like. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a Thor you're not gonna like. He's basically saying, don't get attached to your source material because I'm gonna shred it. I'm throwing it in the paper shredder. And that's just ill, man. Because we know what happens to things when they stray away from the source material or they no longer have a source material to pull from. Do we not remember what happened when that show surpassed the books? That's when it started losing its gravitas, you know. And I feel that same thing with the MCU. And then it's not that they don't have any more source material. It's right there. It's just that they're only picking the stuff that they want to do, which is going to be mostly the modern stuff, right? But if you think with these comics, man, there's thousands and thousands of comic stories of history. Most of them are mediocre. Some of them are just suck, right? And then some of them are great. So these stories are the cream of the crop, right? And it should be easy. You just take a comic book, they give you everything. They give you character design, they give you color, they give you an atmosphere, they give you dialogue, they give you everything. All you gotta do is do that and put it in a motion picture. That's it. I mean, I don't know why they want to add their own flavor. That's fine. But, you know, as long as it remains a little bit original or it remains, you know, close to the material, I think people are fine. It'll keep them grounded. But as we see with Thor, this is not grounded like in any source material. Even though they follow they kind of follow the Thor of Jane Foster, whatever, but a little bit, not too much. And then the gore stuff, I really don't know if they even followed the book at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they just ignored the whole book completely. And then they destroyed the Necro Sword. And when they did that, they destroyed my hopes of seeing Null. So I don't know what MCU is doing. I don't know where they're going. I feel like they shouldn't be confident even though they're still getting people in the theaters, right? I think that Thor's still going to be a success because the movie's still good. But I feel that the further they stray away from the material, the worse it's going to get. Especially if they start adding a little bit of the political stuff, because people aren't stupid. We see the pattern of what they're including here. And I don't have anything against like politics and stuff, right? But I want it to be a little bit, you know, if you're going to have a message, it's got to be tactful, right? And I think Thor did a great job after that. I think some of the stuff they talked about or they wanted to kind of make a statement about, they did it in a kind of funny way, right? They kind of joked about it and stuff, you know, for anything. If it's like a liberal kind of politics or conservative kind of politics, if they kind of add just a little bit of it in the seasoning, but put the story first, put the characters first and everything, you know, it's digestible, right? But if you put too much of it and you're not very tactful, because I think being subtle with some of these things is an art, and I think that's a sign of intelligent storytelling. But when it's not, when it's very clumsy and right in your face, and it's kind of like it's like they want you to get it, like it's a statement, kind of thing. Then I feel like it's I don't know what the word for it, but in Spanish there's a word called empalagado, right? Which means when something has way too much sugar, right? It's too tardy, it's too sweet, it's too much, all right? And I feel like that's what they're kind of doing with some of their other projects. This one wasn't too bad, but I feel like we're heading that way. I feel like we're starting to get detached from the source material, and people are really starting to put their own personal things into the stories or whatever. But whatever, it don't matter. People are gonna still go to the MCU. But the biggest thing that they did though was they turned Thor into a freaking idiot. He's an imbecile. You know what I mean? Like he's a moron. He's Ted Bundy, dude. Or not Ted Bundy, he's Al Bundy, dude. He's a moron, all right? And that's just Thor now, right? If I was a Thor hero, I'd probably be upset, though. Even though, the part when they were, like, kind of doing a spoof of, like, 80s kind of action movies in the beginning with the Thor, I thought that was kind of funny, right? But it's kind of clear that they're like, we don't want it this. They were kind of making fun of Thor in a way. It was kind of like a parody of Thor. It was kind of a parody of superhero movies, and that just kind of shows like maybe a little bit of lack of respect for the source material and everything. But anyways, that's just my opinion. I still think the movie was good. It was an 8 out of 10. It was good. It was entertaining. It did the job. I laughed. And I really enjoyed the endings and how it all turned out. I thought the movie had a lot of heart too. So that's kind of that's the least you can ask for out of these movies. But as far as the MCU overall, I think it's in trouble. I think if DC gets their ass shit together and get their ass in gear and they stick to the source material, they have some great stories to tell. They haven't told pretty much nothing because they butchered it all. But if they can kind of learn from, over the next few years, kind of stick close to the source material, they might have a chance to for them to have their own kind of Marvel thing or their own event, Infinity Saga event or whatever. But I doubt it. I think they're gonna butcher it. They're gonna fumble, bro. They're gonna be the freaking Titans in Super Bowl 99 or Rams or whoever the hell. I don't know much about football, but somebody tripped at the 1 yard line and they fumbled the shit out of it, or they didn't make a touchdown or pass goal or some shit. I don't know, but something is gonna happen with DC. They're gonna suck. All right. Anyways, that's my review. You guys let me know. What do you guys think? You guys think I have a fair assessment of what's going on here? And yeah, if you're a Thor fan, please let me know how much they butchered Gore the Butcher, Gore the God Butcher, and how much they actually hang on with the Jane Foster stuff. All right. Peace, guys.